Hi and welcome back to the channel. It's true, my name is Norf, and you may be someone that's used to presenting in person and you're finding more and more that you're needing to do this online. This requires a different skill set. So in this Phygital skills video, we'll look at some of the common skills you can transfer and some which are net new when it comes to presenting your content virtually. So, as is customary on the channel, strap yourselves in and let's get started. Welcome to the second in this mini-series I've called Phygital Skills, a mashup of two words, physical and digital, focused on how to best use our physical presentation skills in our online world. In this video, we're building on the first video in the series called Slacker, and I'll leave links to that video and some of the things that I use in the description below. These hopefully will be all things that will not break the bank. This week, we'll be looking at physical skills we need to transfer to online deliveries. Then we'll look at some of the net new skills we need to hone if we want to physically land our virtual message. It may feel like you're spinning lots and lots of plates and ensuring that none of them smash on the floor. It is a challenge, and I'm not gonna lie, however, it's totally possible to look like you're effortlessly blending the two together. Obviously common to physical and digital deliveries alike, we first and foremost, before we do anything, is to make sure that we've adequately prepared. Yes, you've guessed it. Have you heard of that mathematical expression, P to the power 5? Poor preparation precedes poor presentations? The same rings true for virtual deliveries. No matter how good your slides look, without proper preparation, your presentation will go sideways faster than the UK changing its prime ministers. Secondly, be sure to craft a story, and we all love a good story. For me, it starts with my trusty weapons of mass creation, pencil and paper. Once I've got my story mapped out, I then drop it into my presentation software of choice. Mine happens to be PowerPoint, yours might be Google Slides, Keynote, or whatever you choose to use. But wherever you start, begin with pen and paper. I cannot recommend it highly enough. You may choose not to use physical pen and paper, you may choose to use a tablet, an iPad, whatever it is, but start with drawing out what your story is going to be about first. So what's your story and perspective going to be? What knowledge are you going to be delivering? What insights are you going to be sharing? Carefully craft and weave your data, insights, and personality into your story. After all, people may not remember a bunch of numbers, but they'll remember if you tell them in a well-crafted story. Here's the thing. I want you to remember this number sequence. 1, 2, 1, 3, 2 or 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. There, did you remember that? Now be honest with me, did you remember that? Whereas conversely, if I said to you, one girl with 2 legs walks into the woods and sees one house, and in that house lived 3 hairy animals, who walked on 2 or 4 legs. She was one hungry girl. She tried 3 bowls of breakfast. Finally, she found one that suited. Then she tried 3 chairs, found one that suited, then needed a nap. She found 3 beds, one suited. The 3 hairy animals came home and chased one little girl out of their house and out of the woods. I'm sure I need not emphasize, stories are memorable. Thirdly, start at the end, and I'm not saying to present your content in reverse. Think about what you want them to do or think differently before they first were introduced to you and your content. Fourthly, on our transferable skills list, if you find yourself reading off the slides, chances are you haven't put in enough practice. And we all know what practice makes, right? Nope, not in this case. Practice makes positive progress. As you practice, record your deliveries. This will give you an excellent opportunity to observe what your audience will see and for you to be able to have the time to refine your content, even down to the words that you choose to use before you go live. Like all output from the theatre, TV or film studios, none of it is released without rehearsals. Presentations are no different. The 5th point on our common list is homework. No one, absolutely no one likes homework. So this is an opportunity to give your delegates some homework. Or a more corporately correct term is a C.T.A or call to action. What do you want them to do, think, or ideally both after they've finished listening to your message? How do you keep the conversation going after your delivery? How do you keep them engaged after you finish presenting? So there are 5 examples of common elements you'll need in a physical presentation as well as a virtual one. These next 5 are examples of what should be done differently if you want your digital delivery to physically land with your online audience. First and foremost, practically, be sure to look straight down the barrel of the camera. You may be using your camera on your laptop, or you may be using an external camera, a little bit like I am right now, but eye contact, even virtually, is super critical. Be sure to have your camera at eye level as well. This helps to keep your posture stable and not to be hunched over. If you're hunched over, your diaphragm won't be working optimally, and you run the risk of having low energy when it comes to presenting. If you have the space to stand up to present, do so. However, if your case is like mine, I don't have the space to stand up, so I will stay seated. I do have my laptop on a riser, so my camera is elevated, and if you look at this from a psychological perspective, you're delivering your presentation adult to adult as opposed to adult versus child. Physically, you won't be able to look around the room, so be sure to look at everyone by looking straight down the barrel of the camera. Secondly, assuming you want interactivity, encourage your attendees or delegates to have their cameras on. Set your screen up if you can to be able to see your audience. This will help as you're able to read the faces and the expressions of your audience. And when it comes to questions, either written or verbal, when you answer, look straight down the barrel of the camera if you remember. Put arrows on your camera to remind yourself to look here. I think it's okay to look away every now and again, but don't leave it for too long. Thirdly, if you've spent any time delivering your messages physically, you'll know that you'll have a full stage at your disposal. When delivering virtually, you'll be confined to a space that's the width and the height of your camera lens. Therefore, put some thought into how you'll use this space and also the space that you have on screen. Facial expressions, non-verbal cues, hand gestures, all of those elements. Everything will be amplified when you're on screen, so be intentional about your gestures, your timing, your energy, and your silences. Fourthly, if possible, present with 2 screens. Why? This will elevate your delivery. If you're using something like PowerPoint, for example, use presenter mode and adjust the cells so you can glance at your bullet points, not lengthy notes, just bullet points. I'd also recommend to use a clicker, and of course, before your live delivery, practice your presentation. Like any live performance in a theatre or on big screen, what is it they do first? Yes, they practice. And when you practice, record yourself using your smartphone or your computer to see what others will see. This then gives you the opportunity to refine your presentation before it's delivered. Virtual delivery point number 5, I'm going to give you a 2 for 1. Mic up and light up. Good audio will be critical to your delivery. You can use a wired headset. Personally, I prefer to use a Bluetooth headset, but whatever you choose to use, be sure your audio is stable, clear, and crisp. If not, you risk your audience switching off, disengaging, and becoming, yes, a distraction. Second is to light up. Dependent on where you choose to present from, make sure your face is well illuminated. It goes without saying your camera needs to be on so your audience get to see you. It's also important as your delegates will want to connect with you as the storyteller, bringing the slides to life. And that's it for this week's Phygital Skills video. When you're delivering your content virtually, ensure your fundamentals are in place, irrespective of whether you're delivering physically or virtually. The first thing we talked about this week is to prepare, tell a story, start at the end, practice your delivery, and leave them with some homework, or a C.T.A. in other words, a call to action. Virtually, amongst other things, raise your camera to eye level, look straight down the barrel of said camera. Be intentional about your gestures, timing, energy, and silences. Finally, the tech will set you apart from everyone else. If you can, use 2 screens, and then remember right at the end the twofer, mic up and light up. I'd be curious to know which of these you already do and which ones are new. Do leave me a comment below. And whilst you're leaving me a comment, you may know that I'm a massive fan of the number 3. So if you would, please do 3 things for me. If you like the content, please do give me a thumbs up. Also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on the next exciting episode of our Phygital Skills video series. Again, thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here, and I'll see you in the next one.